It's a bit of a long story. I, 21 female, and my boyfriend, 21 male, have been together since we were 17. We have a healthy relationship, and I have a fantastic relationship with his family as well. I spent every Easter, Thanksgiving, Christmas, and any events in between with his family. His mom and I get along really well, and my boyfriend annoyingly complains about how she calls me more than him. Same with his father, who's been a second father figure to me, and always reminds me I'm more like a daughter to him than his son's girlfriend. My boyfriend has an older brother, 24 male, who I also get along with just fine. But he's more kept to himself, so I don't know him as well as the rest. His older brother recently got himself a girlfriend, and actually the first time since I've met him, he has had a girlfriend. This Halloween weekend was my boyfriend's parents' anniversary, and they invited me over, as usual, but also asked the brother to bring his girlfriend over for the first time. His girlfriend is the same age as me, so I was looking forward to meeting her. That Saturday, I arrived at my boyfriend's parents' place early, as me and his mother had plans to cook a large meal for everyone. That afternoon was mostly just me, my boyfriend, and his parents hanging out. The girlfriend came later in the evening with his brother. Right off the bat, she became overly comfortable with my boyfriend and his father. She said, "I didn't know all the men in your family are handsome," and gave both men a rather tight and long hug. She then made her way over to his mother, ignoring me completely, and saying, "You're so pretty. Watch out though, your husband's on my radar." Immediately his mother turned to me and whispered, "I have a bad feeling about her." We stayed in the kitchen, but the kitchen looks into the living room, so we saw everything go down. The girlfriend sat on both my boyfriend's and his dad's lap when trying to talk to them, and both men seemed uncomfortable. Soon, my boyfriend joined us in the kitchen and said, "I don't like her." I called her over to taste the pasta. We all like spicy food, but I didn't know if she could handle it. To which she took a bite and said, "It's good. I see why they keep bringing you around." That compliment felt backhanded, and I felt more uneasy with her. We set up the dining table, and it was time for dinner. My boyfriend's family usually says grace before the meal and invited the girlfriend to lead today as she was a guest. The girlfriend accepted and happily thanked God for the food and all the members, intentionally leaving me out of the grace. I didn't mind too much, but my boyfriend and his mom looked at me with the "you saw that" look in her eyes. As the dinner moved along, my boyfriend's dad grilled her with questions about her life and this and that, something he did to me as well. She seemed like a decent girl from a decent background. After he was done, he started asking me about the things I was working on and my plans for graduate school. Before I could answer, she interrupted and started talking about her work and how much she hated it. I could tell my boyfriend's dad didn't really want to listen, as he gave dry responses back and then turned back to me and just asked how my family was doing. This trend went on the whole night, where every time I was acknowledged, she would interrupt me. Near the end of dinner, she jokingly said, "Be careful, David," brother's name. "I might just leave you for Blake," my boyfriend's name. I'm at that point where I don't get jealous or annoyed at this type of stuff. So I went along and said, "Yeah, Blake, remember to invite me to the wedding when it happens." That seemed to be the breaking point for the girlfriend, as she started crying out and saying she's been trying to embarrass me the entire night. Then she went on a ramble about how I'm hogging my boyfriend's family and making her look bad in front of them. Right after dinner, she dragged my boyfriend's brother out of the house with her, and they left for the night. We invited them to stay over for the weekend. My boyfriend's family apologized to me for having to witness that, and we all chilled down to some drinks and kept the celebration going without them. The next day, my boyfriend's mother gets a call from the brother who seemed extremely pissed off. She put her phone on speaker, so we all heard him talk. He said his girlfriend is really upset with me and his family, how she's now having doubts about him and their relationship. She says that as long as I'm involved in the family, she doesn't think the relationship with him will work out. The brother then began to ask that I break up with my boyfriend so his girlfriend would stop crying and finally have peace with their relationship. My boyfriend denied the request, so did his parents, to which the brother then said, "Either she's out of the family or I am. I don't want to end this relationship over someone who's not related to us in the first place." Since then, no one has been able to get a hold of him, and it's stressing his parents and my boyfriend out a lot. I feel guilty, but also confused on what to do. I don't want to break apart this family, but I love my boyfriend and his parents too. I don't know what to do or how to process any of this. OP should not engage. The girlfriend is clearly disliked by the entire family. The brother is clearly desperate for the first person that showed him some attention. She was grossly inappropriate and made everyone uncomfortable. OP should leave herself out of it. The brother will stay away, realize she's insane and not worth having zero friends or family. Update. An update on the situation that sort of gives me more clarity on why everything happened. This morning, my boyfriend's mother got a hold of his brother, and we all went over again and sat down together. No girlfriend this time. The brother seemed to calm down a lot more and apologized for the commotion the other night. However, he's still backing up on my boyfriend and us breaking up for the betterment of his relationship. There was a lot of back and forth between my boyfriend and his brother. A lot of what I simply chose to stay out of. His brother got angry again, and right before he left, he said, "You can shove that ring up your butt and don't think about inviting me to the wedding." He left after that, and the room got tense. So my boyfriend opened up to me about something. Basically, he planned to propose to me. Not now, but he bought the ring a few months ago and told his family, including his brother, about it. He said the tension between his brother and him started the moment he told him he planned to propose to me. I didn't know if I should be happy my boyfriend wants to marry, or upset that this was sort of over a ring. Now, I'm still confused on the girlfriend's behavior, but I think I can safely say that beyond the girlfriend, a big reason the brother was upset was over the fact me and my boyfriend are gonna get married. That's the update for me. A lot of people asked about my boyfriend's older brother's dating history, and I found out this was the first time he dated someone since he was 16. He's 24 now. Anyways, that's all. My boyfriend was bummed out that he had to spill the beans on his plan, but we talked it out, and he said he's gonna officially propose with the ring in his planned time. I'm gonna stay with him. I'm gonna keep my distance from that family though, for the time being, just in case any more mishaps come to fruition. This happened pre-COVID, and the girl in question still doesn't talk to me. So I was wondering if maybe I was the a-hole. My husband has a best friend, Stefan, who is married to Caroline. After I gave birth, they came to visit to meet the baby. Anyone who has been a new mother knows how absolutely exhausted you are in those first few weeks, and how much a pain in the ass it is to have to keep going to a separate room to breastfeed. I was in a lot of pain, so my husband suggested I stop going into the other room and instead just breastfeed in the living room, where I had set up camp, even when we had guests. I liked the suggestion, so that's what I started doing. I would cover myself with a towel when we had guests. When Stefan and Caroline came over, I was already feeding the baby, so they got an eyeful. But I covered myself 2 seconds later. Stefan didn't comment, and just started asking how I was recovering from the birth, if we needed anything, how was the baby, etc. Caroline, on the other hand, was staring daggers into me. I asked her what was wrong, and she made a remark about how I shouldn't breastfeed in front of people, and that it was rude. I explained that I was in a lot of pain, and this was easier. She started getting angry and demanded to know if I thought it was okay to flash my breasts at other people's husbands. I was appalled, and told her I wasn't flashing anyone. She was visibly angry and started ranting about how it was wrong of me to be sitting here naked when I knew I had guests. How I should have some respect for other people's marriages, and how I was an attention seeker. I was stunned. My husband asked them to leave, and Stefan kept apologizing as they left. They never got to meet the baby for another few months. It turns out, Caroline had recently caught Stefan talking to another woman, and their relationship was on the rocks. Stefan was very apologetic and texted and called multiple times to make sure we were okay. Since then, a lot of the other wives of my husband's friends have been very cold towards me. I don't know what Caroline said, but I doubt it was complimentary. If I'd known they were having problems, I would have just gone into the other room to avoid any problems, but I didn't. Am I the a-hole for not going into another room? Not the a-hole. Wow, wow, wow. I'm disgusted on OP's behalf. OP's husband did the right thing by asking them to leave. But I'm honestly baffled how they managed to stay in their life at all without resolving this. OP's husband, unfortunately, has to have another talk with Stefan. OP has a right to breastfeed however she wants, especially in her own home. Caroline is wildly in the wrong. My parents split up about 3 years ago, and shortly after, my dad started dating this lady. We'll call her Kay. She got pregnant, and after the baby was born, everyone moved into my childhood home, forcing my mom to move out. I'm female 18. My sisters are 16 and 9, and Kay has 2 other kids, female 13 and male 10, plus 1-year-old baby. The house is a 4-bedroom house, sleeping 8 people, so me and the 16-year-old had to move into the garage, so Kay's kids could have our rooms. The 3 youngest each have their own room, then Dad, Kay, and baby share. Since their arrival, almost a year ago, the house has been a disgrace. The front looks like a junkyard, the inside has crap everywhere, etc. The problem, though, is that Kay is lazy. Like, full-on went to jail for her kid's dad crazy, and is an alcoholic. She and my dad have a very toxic relationship, and my dad has admitted multiple times he's only staying with her for the baby. Her daughter called the cops on my dad for supposedly kicking her. He didn't. And my mom has called cops on Kay for calling me a C. So yeah, very toxic, but whenever they have an argument, she'll suddenly play happy families so that they can stay, which my dad agrees to because of the baby. I honestly kinda hate coming here, even though it's my house and I love my dad. I also absolutely adore this baby, and I know that if Kay leaves, my dad will have very limited access to the baby. But I feel like I can't be here anymore. I'm in grade 12, I work, and I don't need this crap bringing me down. What brings me into this ultimatum, though, is that tonight I went into my room and saw that some postcards I bought during my year abroad had been deliberately ripped up, and my sister's frame they were in was destroyed. I say deliberate because these photos were in multiple pieces, and the frame was spread across the room. It wasn't my sister's, me, my dad, or the baby, leaving only Kay and her other kids. My dad has said before that he's going to go to court to remove her from the house, and has said tonight that he will be going tomorrow after finding out they have destroyed my property. So, would I be the a-hole if I told my dad that unless he actually does get her removed from the house, because he has never gone through with it, I will not be staying here? On one hand, I feel fully justified because I should not have to put up with this crap, but then I know it means kicking out my baby sister. Like I said, my dad will have very little access, and if she grows up with just her mom, this beautiful baby is going to grow up into a spoiled, entitled cow, just like all the females in her family so far. My dad even said tonight, "Sorry I haven't done it yet, but I'm just trying to stay with the baby," which made me feel like crap, not his intention. But I also feel like he made his bed. He should lie in it. I am genuinely conflicted. Would I be the a-hole? Kay is the obvious problem. OP is in school and shouldn't have to put up with these problems. High school is very important, and especially since OP is a senior. OP's father has to get out of this toxic relationship as soon as possible. OP is definitely not the a-hole for wanting to get Kay and her kids out of the house, and especially not the a-hole for not wanting to live in that toxic household. I think they should record her, keep messages, etc., then go to a lawyer. OP's dad should be able to get nearly full custody if what OP says is true. I've been married for 5 years, so this happened a while ago, but we are still dealing with the effects. My parents are pretty rich and like to help their kids, with strings attached. I am the youngest of 3, and they paid for both of my siblings' weddings and bought them houses. And I don't mean the down payment, they bought them outright. When I got engaged, they offered to do the same, and we were ecstatic. Now, according to wedding tradition, the bride's mother gets first choice of what color to wear. I'm not sure how much people follow that anymore, but my wife and mother-in-law thought it was important. I do feel like since my mom paid for the wedding, maybe she should have gotten first pick. Or they could have worn the same color, because who really gives a crap? My mom and mother-in-law ended up wanting the same color. My wife stood by that her mom gets to pick first, and my mom threw a tantrum and said she wasn't coming. She did back down on that, but my dad said he would not be buying us a house because we were disrespectful, and he complained about not being able to get his money back for the wedding. My dad did give us the choice to have mother-in-law change her dress color and still get a house. But my wife stood firm, and I supported her because I wanted to start the marriage as a united front. My parents acted like a-holes at the wedding and sulked the entire time. Now, I'm not going to excuse it, but my mom has literally never been told no before, or at least never had anyone hold firm on the no if she screamed and cried. My grandfather was the type of parent who would fire nannies for disciplining her, and he created a monster. My dad loves to enable said monster. I do think her behavior sucked, but to me, it wasn't worth losing a house over. My wife and I are talking about trying for our first kid, though she knows I would like to be in a house by the time they are born, and we don't know if that is going to happen. I told her that, honestly, she made the wrong decision, and I resent that we have to live with it. My mom acted like a drama queen, but she did pay for the wedding, and I wish she let her wear the dress. I hate living in an apartment while my siblings have gorgeous houses. My wife got mad and said that I should be apologetic to her because they are my parents, and that I should have kept that to myself. OP's parents, and mostly mom, are the a-holes. Sounds like they use money to control people like puppets. Pretty degrading that they would hold their money over OP's head like that. And over a dress color. And OP has admitted that his mom is a spoiled brat. So OP is also a little the a-hole for being resentful of his wife for not going along with the toxic mind games OP's mom wanted to play.